on where we've been and where we're going in just a few slides here. But in the meantime, I'll turn things over to Stephanie to kind of go over what all is going to be involved in our presentation today.
So we're just going to give you a very brief history of WSIE, because I know I've talked to Rotary before about it, but some people may be new and may not know. We're going to talk about what you can hear on the station, educational opportunities for SIUE students, a little bit about our general manager, who I had to force to put this in here, by the way. WSIE's accomplishments, our supporters, our role in the community, which is really important, I know, to people in Rotary, challenges, and some listener testimonials. So here is our very brief history, and we will obviously tell you more if you have questions in person. We went on the air September 4th of 1970, and for those of you that are very quick with math, that does mean very soon we will have our 50th, which is very exciting. We are going to be trying to plan something, but again, with all this stuff, we don't know when and what, so we'll see. We broadcast at 50,000 watts, which is similar to 96.3's broadcasting, so it's a very large wattage. If you think like Lewis and Clark, I think they broadcast at 15,000 watts, and where Jason went in Lindenwood, was that 30 or 35, Jason?
35,000 watts. Yeah, it's definitely a rarity to have an educational facility that can boast a 50,000 watt signal. And just to kind of give you an idea, that gets us all across most of the St. Louis region from our tower right there in Edwardsville.
And we've been broadcasting since 1982. Before that, they did something similar to the NPR programming in St. Louis, which they're doing a fine job. We don't need to do what they're doing anymore, right? So, and we evolved our programming into the sound in 2016, and we'll tell you more about what that means in a minute.
So prior to changing the format over to the sound in 2016, we featured mostly traditional old school big band type jazz, you know, Count Basie kind of jazz, which was doing really well for us for a while. But as with any format that is a little bit older, our age group was kind of aging out, let's just say. So Steve Jankowski and also the students of the Mass Communications graduate program took it upon themselves to come up with an idea of how we could modernize the format. And thank you to the students of SIUE for the great job that they did alongside our former general manager. They put together a great program. The sound is a blend of traditional jazz, artists like Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, things like that. Also smooth jazz, which includes artists like, and a lot of these folks you may or may not recognize, but Al Jarreau, David Benoit, George Benson, Michael Franks, like that. We also include blues in our programming. Of course, a lot of folks know blues: Stevie Ray Vaughan, Bonnie Raitt, Albert King, and easy R&B. We were calling it just R&B for a while, but there were some folks that got confused. They were expecting to hear things like Usher and Drake, which we do not play. But we offer easy R&B, which is more in the vein of, think Sade, The Spinners, Aretha Franklin, John Legend, things like that. And then we also do play some other genres of music that don't quite fit in any of the four main formats that we've mentioned already. We call those companion genres. It's kind of the spice to the overall mix of the station. That includes artists like Steely Dan, also Chris Isaac, Everything But the Girl, Jamiroquai, Ambrosia, Boz Scaggs, things like that. It's music that goes really well along with the jazz format. I will add that WSIE is the only 24/7 FM radio station in our region. And when I say the region, I mean the entire Midwest region that preserves and promotes what we like to call America's one true original art form, of course, talking about jazz. So when people want an outlet for this music, we are the only place for them to go, not only locally, but also we get folks from Springfield, Missouri, and Arnold, and even Chicago that listen in via the internet. Our goal is to provide a mix of music that appeals to a wide audience. So not only do we want to offer a great outlet for the folks that are fans of jazz specifically, but we also want to offer music for folks that just they appreciate great music in general. So that's the reason why they opened up the format to include all this other music as well.
Jason does a really good job of doing this, you guys, because he always asks people like me who are not big jazz aficionados, hey, do you like this? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that is kind of the goal, is like, we already have the folks that know we play jazz and they love it and they listen to it, but the folks that aren't necessarily the biggest fans of that format, like Stephanie, my wife, I'll play music for them and get their opinion on it as well, because I want to make sure that we keep it very diverse and very open as far as who's listening. Aside from the music, we also feature Cougars sports on the air. We play Cougars basketball and also Cougars baseball. We broadcast those games on the air, as well as Edwardsville High School football. We do play the Tigers games on the air as well. Now, of course, this past spring, we had to cut the baseball season short because of the COVID situation. But fingers crossed, we're hoping that come fall, we should be able to broadcast the Edwardsville High Tigers games on the air, God willing, at this point. So other than that, we do also offer some public interest programs, which include the Financial Cafe, which airs every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. That's co-hosted by Larry Lexo and also John Graney over at Lexo Financial. As the title explains, they go over financial information and give you their best advice. Also, we offer Segway on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. That's hosted by Chancellor Randy Pembroke at SIUE and also the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, which right now would be Greg Budsman. And they offer a unique viewpoint on regional and local stories, as well as a lot of information on what's going on around the SIUE campus. On Sunday evenings, we offer a program at 6 called Voices. That's hosted by Hank Thompson. He is a long-term member of the St. Louis media family, and he provides a very interesting program that discusses issues like government and politics and what's going on around the region from more of an African-American standpoint. So a lot of great, unique programming that we offer on the station. And we also boast that we're your escape from the noise. And a lot of people don't really know exactly what that means. And I'll kind of tell you, a hint is it offers programming that gets you out of that, what's going on around the world, bad news, politics kind of environment. There's a lot of that everywhere else. And we try to steer clear of that. And we provide a relaxing format of music that you can just kind of, have a good day with. Let's see here. So we also, aside from providing a great form of entertainment for our listeners, we provide educational training for the students of SIUE. Traditionally, we've provided opportunities for mass communication students because they're the ones that'll be going into radio and TV and podcasting and so forth. And those positions include opportunities like on-air hosting and sports broadcasting, board operations. Those are the folks that work the audio board while the games are going on the air. Audio production, making commercials and spots and promos and so forth. But we also offer opportunities for students that are outside of the mass communications realm as well. Positions like social media management, marketing opportunities, sales, folks that'll go shadow Stephanie while she's out in the field, office management and research on grants and so forth. As a matter of fact, Stephanie, if you wanted to talk for just a minute about a couple of the students that we've had recently in the office that have helped us out.
Well, currently we have somebody who was doing some front office management for us, and she is really awesome. She's actually from the Mass Comm department. Right before her, we had a student from the English department who did an intern over there, and he actually did some real research and some writing of grants for us. So one of the things that I told him was, hey, this isn't like I'm going to give you like pretend work to do. I'm gonna give you real stuff because I got a lot to do. So he was actually pretty excited about that, and we really helped him out, and he helped us out. So.
And that's one of the real advantages of having this radio station on campus is it gives the real world opportunities to the students at the school to be able to come in, get that experience, and then get out in the job field afterwards and be able to say that, yeah, I already know how to do this stuff. Speaking
of in the job field, Jason, tell them about one of your student successes, I would call them, who you've helped connect with some places.
Yeah, well, and I've been connected in the St. Louis market, the media market, for over 20 years now, and I know a lot of folks that are out there. So one of the things that I really try to go above and beyond with is the ability to hook up the students with the folks that are out there in the jobs so that we can get them either part-time or full-time positions just as soon as possible. And when students graduate, I want to make sure that they get those jobs immediately if we can help it. Zach, which was, he went by the Z-Man on the air. He graduated about almost 2 years ago now. It was right after I came in. And luckily, I was able to get him a job right after he graduated with Intercom Communications in St. Louis. They're the cluster that has KEZK 97.1, KMOX, Y98, and also now 96.3. He got a job immediately with 97.1, producing some of the local news there and some of the local shows like the Mark Cox Show. And after he was there for about 3 months, he was hired on full time. They really appreciated his ethic, and he knew what he was doing, and was able to move on pretty quickly over there. Also, Colin, which broadcast our football games for the Edwardsville Tigers, when he graduated, we were able to get him on part-time at ESPN Radio over in Creve Coeur, and then also part-time at Fox Sports Midwest downtown. So anything and everything that we can do for our students, we make sure that we make it a priority. Stephanie, you want to go ahead and hit the next slide there?
Yeah, I also want to mention that we do have non-student volunteers. So that would be.
We've got some ex-students that have come back and helped to volunteer to not only staff on-air positions, but also to help us out with training of the students as well. They're former students that have had real-world broadcast experience, have held jobs for a while, and have come back to us, and they do a great job for us. With radio, it's something that I knew I wanted to do since I was a kid. And in my early teens, I discovered jazz and have had a huge passion for it ever since. Actually, one of the places that helped me discover this great music was listening to WSIE. I listened to it from the late 80s onward. And aside from getting into radio, it was always a dream of mine to work in some respects with this radio station when I got older. And so it's truly a dream job for me to be able to say that not only am I working here, but also I'm the general manager of this radio station. I can't tell you how awesome that is. I worked at many different places.
He's passionate about it every single day, you guys. I have to interject. Every single day, he's like, yes, WSIE, yeah. So, this is like the world to him. So he could talk about this part forever, but we're going to make sure we're moving on. So I'm going to click forward, okay?
Okay, cool. I do go on about that kind of stuff.
Which is awesome, and it's wonderful. But we have our time slot, and we saw to send me a message later. Hey, Stephanie. So onward and upward. Ever since Jason has been here, actually, we have really been making some great strides. We have a youthful staff. Our overall listenership has expanded by 3 times. So what he is doing by asking other people like me and his wife and just other people what they think is working. You guys, it is really some good music to listen to. Underwriter support has almost quadrupled over the past 2 years. That's me. And social media upgrades. So we've been working really hard on that. If you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, why am I drawing a blank, Jason? What's
Twitter.
The other one? Twitter. Okay, so I'm not as big on Twitter yet. I'm learning and I'm working on it. Anyway, if you're on those, like our page, follow us, whatever the thing is, and help us by sharing some stuff, please. We'd sure appreciate it. And also, we have a new website, which is really awesome, at WSIE.com. And it was through the help of the SIUE University Marketing Communications. It has a whole lot of information about the music, about, if you like something that just played, there it is. You can see it, okay? Also, they're working with some students about a multi-platform app, which we can tell you more about it another time. I'm sure we'll come back and tell you and show you about that, okay? And look at this one, everybody. I'm so excited about this. These are our supporters. We have really grown in our level of support. You'll see one is in green. That's the Sheldon in St. Louis, the one that everybody says has near perfect acoustics. If you haven't been there, you need to go. And they have worked with us now for 30 years. How exciting is that, right? They are a supreme legacy client. We do have a lot of new clients too, and we're very excited, and a lot of local ones. So if you look at the ones in red, they are our local clients. We have Goldenberg, Heller, and Antignoli, Lexo Financial, The Chef Shop, Musali's Prime. Have you been out there yet to have their new burgers? Evidently, they're doing curbside. Anderson Hospital, Rick Martini State Farm, Ed Glenn Chamber of Commerce. Speaking of working through the Ed Glenn Chamber of Commerce, we are now on a nonprofit website through that. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We're helping to promote it on our airwaves, and it's helping people who are able to donate and volunteer at this time connect with Ed Glenn nonprofits. So check that out. Bev George and Associates, Clean Eats, Big Frog, If you want any WSIE gear, you can actually get it through there. You can go to our website and click through and get some. Musanda, I need to see one on you soon, okay? Infinite Wellness Integrative Medical Center. I know he's part of the Rotary, but it doesn't look like he's in here today. Edgewild, they're doing some amazing curbside stuff too, and then Cassins. So I just wanted to make sure we thanked them.
In the community, so not only are we a community supported radio station, which means that we thrive off of the donations of listeners and underwriters and also corporate donations and such, but we also like to support the community any way that we can. Different ways that we do that right now. The Regional Artists Program. We have always played national acts on WSIE, but we have not always featured the music of our local and regional musicians. And that is something that I take great pride in. We make sure that we make that a priority. And so at least once or twice per hour, you'll hear the music of local musicians. Also, the local jazz festival circuit. We have 3 major jazz festivals that we're part of. The Clayton Jazz Festival, which will be happening later in September. Also, the Chesterfield Wine and Jazz Festival, which has been going on for about 7 years now. That may or may not happen this year. It's scheduled for June, and we're going to find out more about that later on. Also, the Herman Wine and Jazz Festival, which is our big one. We are actually the host of that particular festival. It happens in Herman, Missouri, in wine country.
And it is super fun. If you guys have not been to Herman, go come. It's fun. Good times. We stay there and we have fun.
We feature a slew of local musicians. They always put on a great show. That's going to happen on the weekend of August 29th. So the 28th, 29th, and 30th is when that's going to occur. We try and get out and do other community events as well. The Goshen Market, Taste of St. Louis will be having Music at the Intersection coming up in September in the Grand Center area. They'll have 7 different stages with different musicians performing. It's going to be a really cool time. We do stage announcements whenever our staffing and time allows. Our on-air hosts and also our staff will go out to places like the Sheldon or the Grandel or Jazz St. Louis to be able to announce acts on whenever they have them come through town. And then recently, one of the things that we've done is because with the COVID-19 situation, most of our underwriter support has had to put a pause on their financial contributions because they're either closed completely or they've reduced services at this point. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to offer a limited amount of spots for our area businesses that are still open and operating. We're talking restaurants.
Hey, make sure you guys are noting this. If this is one of those highlight points, okay? If you didn't hear that part, say that one more time, Jason, for them. So if you guys want this, you can have this, okay?
We're doing a limited run of free spots for businesses, including businesses like restaurants who are doing curbside and or delivery, retail that's doing business online, essential services, and also some of the performance venues that aren't having performances right now, but they're offering online entertainment like Facebook Live videos from the musicians that normally would have been performing or pre-recorded performances. So if you are interested, our contact information is going to be at the end of this slideshow. We are offering this through the end of the stay-at-home orders in both Missouri and Illinois. So obviously Missouri is coming to an end soon, but we're still going to offer this to our region until the end of the Illinois stay-at-home order, which right now is set for the end of May. That could change between now and then, but there is still time. So if you want to do that, we can definitely set that up for you. Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you for some of the challenges that we have.
Well, just like every other place, we do have challenges, and we are always working on improving, the areas that could use some improvement. So the basic gist of this is increasing our awareness, marketing strategy, growing, getting more underwriters. We're working on seeing if we can get any grants, listener donations. Those are very important to a community-supported station. We're considering on-air pledge drives, and right now, actually, we're doing Give St. Louis
Give STL Day.
Give STL Day. And it's on May 7th. So if you guys like us on Facebook, you'll see more about that. And it's a really great thing that's been going on for a lot of years, but this is our first year in it. So I'd like to invite you to try to, take part of that, support nonprofits. Obviously, you guys are big into not, doing things like that. Also adding new members to our advisory board because we're always trying to, improve ourselves. So moving forward. And this is a really cool slide because this is what some people have said about us. We have a lot more, but these are like the ones that we thought you guys would be most interested in. One thing that this person said was just wanted to let you know that WSIE 88.7 is on the air in the H&R block in Edwardsville, and our clients and associates love it. Keep up the good work. we love to hear about that. We love it when people play our music in their business, and you'd be surprised the amount of people that will ask, what is playing? That is really great. Like, I hear a lot of comments like that. I answer the main line that come into the office too, besides my many other jobs. So I do get to hear a lot of things like that. And this one was also really fun. Are you kidding me? I happened on to 88.7 The Sound while traveling to Michigan to see kids and grandkids. I wanted to stop in St. Louis and stay a few days just to listen to your playlist. How cool is that? You are without a doubt the best radio station I've ever found. I nearly cried when I drove out of your range. Thanks for providing great music for your listeners. I have no idea why anyone would ever listen to any other station in St. Louis. So this is our new favorite person, right? Of course. So, but we obviously did get in touch with her. Jason did, and explained to her that she could keep listening to us through going to our website. You can stream us, or you can go to the TuneIn app and type in WSIE. So. And here you have our contact information. So Jason Church, the general manager, and then me. I have many titles, so whatever, if it needs done, I'm gonna do it, right? Active service. So right now, we also wanna know if you guys have any questions for us. So if anybody can just unmute themselves and go ahead and ask or raise your hand. I don't know how that works, Musanda, what do you think? Come back to us, Musanda, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I had to unmute myself first. Yeah, wait for the other guys to ask questions and maybe we play some music.
You talked about got a lot of student volunteers and such. How many people work at the station?
That's a good question. Well, when I first started, we were down to maybe about 3 or 4 student volunteers and 2 professional volunteers. Christiane and Casey are both of those former students that I had mentioned earlier. But the really cool thing is that with a big help from Stephanie, we put an internal marketing campaign out across campus to not only advertise our opportunities to the mass comm students, but also students at large across the entire campus. And since then, we've got ourselves up to about 15 to 20 different students at any given time that are coming down to work with us at the radio station. We've actually had a student that is interested in sports broadcasting, but he's a pre-law student, and he's come down and done a couple of games for us and worked the board. So those are the kind of things that we really want to make sure that we make available to all the students is just, hey, if it's something that you've dreamed of doing, yeah, we want to give priority to the students that are going to be going into the field. But in the meantime, if you want to come down and do an on-air shift, we love it.
And full-time staff, we have 2. We have Jason and we have our chief engineer who keeps us on the air and makes everything work. And then I am part-time currently. So, but I am everywhere.
Yeah, that's the fun part is we all do a little bit of everything. Normally a station of this size should have about 8 to 10 employees, but we've got 2.5 and we do the best with what we have and we're having a good time at it. So that's what counts.
Thanks for the question. Any more?
I have a comment. You're the only music station I can get in my office building.
Hey, well, that's a good thing.
Love
We'll
that.
take it by default.
Well, I don't know, but it works, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you for listening.
Jason, you used to do some of the news at 97.1, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I did that for 10 years over at 97.1. And
Give him the voice, Jason.
I'm dying to hear the sign off one more time.
I could just do the last part for you. I'm Jason Church. Yeah, I loved working over there. A lot of great people over at 97.1. And it was definitely a no-brainer for me to move over here because, like I said, it was a dream, but difficult to leave all those folks behind over there. I see them occasionally.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Jason is also a Eagle Scout, so.
Yes, sir. Very proud of that fact. My dad was an Eagle Scout. He got his Eagle out in California. And for both my brother and I, he told us both, and not that we weren't motivated to begin with, but he said, hey, you're going to get your Eagle before you get your driver's license. So I had my Eagle by the time I was 16 and a half.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, anybody else? Do I have to be a student to come over and
No,
station, check it out?
not at all. We offer tours. Even if you wanted to come over and try your hand at doing some on-air work, we would love to have you over. That, like I said, we have opportunities for non-students as well. So, obviously we want to give priority to the students, but if you want to come over and do a shift on a Sunday afternoon, we'd love to have you.
All right.
You can just come get a tour too if you'd like one.
Yeah.
I think a tour would be very cool. And you,
Not right now though. We're not there. We're at home.
no. That's okay. But I was thinking about this Herman. I've been to Herman and I love it there. So I'm going to have to put it on my list of places to go.
Absolutely. This year it's supposed to be the end of August, right, Jason?
August 29th is our big day. That's a Saturday. That's the main stage. On Friday night, we'll have some entertainment around town at a couple of local establishments. And then Sunday, we're doing a brunch. I will add in that for those that may be interested in coming out to join us, it is free admission for the festival. So, we'll have, different vendors around selling food and other items. But that's the only thing you'll need to bring money for is that and the wine. Other than that, the entertainment's free.
Sounds great. Sounds awesome. Well, thank you both very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I've got it. I've got all of this written down because I'm ashamed I've not ever listened. So, and I love jazz. I love jazz. So I'm going to be all over this. But yes, thank you so much for coming. And I can't wait to tune you in.
Thanks for having us.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, if not, forgot to mention earlier, Gina is looking at hosting. She's our happy hour host, and we don't think that we should not have happy hour just because we're stuck at home. So keep an eye out on Monday for an invite for a Zoom happy hour. Might be the safest way to do happy hour. In the comfort of your own home. So just watch out for the email. And if no one has anything else, we can go ahead and, if you would, join me in the 4-way test. Musanda.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
After that, can we play some jazz to take us out of here? Do we have any jazz?
Yes, we do. Well, we'll do that as well.
Perfect.